Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we are replacing a cigarette lighter with an aftermarket USB power supply. It's a dual USB power supply, and it has a little digital display that shows you your vehicle voltage. This video is helpful for really any vehicle. If you're looking to do this kind of job, check it out. Specifically, I am doing this job on a 2014 Toyota Tundra, and I'm replacing the rear cigarette lighter that goes to the back seat. Tools that I use to complete this job is a little electric drill, 10mm socket, 1/4-inch drive, strippers, crimpers, pliers, a Dremel tool because I had to enlarge the hole for the cigarette lighter, trim removal tools, heat shrink, and crimps. In my case, it's just not holding itself in any longer, and I want to upgrade it. I certainly don't use it as a cigarette lighter, but more so they're power supplies for little devices like what we see here that adapt and plug into cigarette lighter, and you can use them as USB 5-volt power supplies. Well, in my case, this one stopped working, and it's broken, and it stopped working because the wire broke off. So we're going to replace this with a completely different device, but instead of a cigarette lighter, it actually has two 3-amp 5-volt power supplies for my USB connections. But we'll see the final product here in a moment. Regardless of what vehicle you are performing this procedure on, you'll be faced with a situation where you have to remove some trim. Let's get started. I have my trim tools. Everything that I'm going to be using here today there'll be a link in the bottom of the description of the video. Okay, Tundra owners, there's two versions to remove the trim. There's the quick version, and then there's the extended version. I prefer the extended version because I was able to clean beneath cracks and crevices of the center console, but you can choose. Here's the quick version. But it appears as if this back panel does pop off, and without this in the car, it's much easier to pull off. So you don't really have to go through all this trouble like we just did. And now for the extended version, here's the rest of the story. So lift up the center console lid, take everything out of your center console, take those 4 screws out there. What you're going to be using is a 10mm socket. Next, you want to take your knob off of your shifter, just unscrew it counterclockwise, put it off to the side. Then you're going to want to take your shifter panel off, just stick your hands on the side here and pull up gently, pops right off. Next, you want to take your cup holder piece out. It's sitting right there. It clips right in here. You just get yourself a little trim removal tool underneath this corner, trim removal tool underneath this corner, and pops up, pulls off, put it up onto the side. Now you're in this position right here. You have a screw right here, and you have a screw right there. Take those off. I used a Phillips head screwdriver and put those off to the side. Now we're loose. For me, I'm going to disconnect this connector, which goes to this alternate cigarette lighter here, and I'm going to pull this whole back side out so I can work on it easier. All right, connector disconnected. Pull it straight on back here. All right, let's go work on it out in the garage here. You know, this did not take me very long to pull this out, but I'm kind of glad I did because I need to clean underneath the console area and crevices anyways. So, and plus I get to have a good look at all the components that are underneath here. It's an interesting module located underneath the console. So I did a brief look up, and I've learned that this is my yaw rate stability control module. Pretty interesting. All right, so we will do this. We'll finish this job in the bed of my truck here. It appears as if this back panel does pop off, and without this in the car, it's much easier to pull off. Just go ahead and disconnect this connector here. remove our old socket. And we got a broken wire we'll fix here. All right, so the device that I purchased online comes with its own nice little wire harness, which is pretty cool. It's designed to go straight to the battery, and because of this, it actually has a fuse holder, and it comes with fuses. In this vehicle, I have a ignition controlled power supply going here, which means that it only has power when the ignition is on. So therefore my circuit is already fused. Okay, I will go ahead and use the fuse as supply. It's never too bad to have too much protection. I will, in my case, I have a red wire and a brown wire. My red wire is positive. If you question the polarity on the wires that you have in your vehicle, get your multimeter out and verify polarity. In my case, the red wire is positive, and the white with the brown stripe or white with the black stripe is negative. And I'm just going to utilize the existing negative because it actually fits on my socket, my new connection for the positive. On the device that you purchase, it will have a plus and a minus on the back because it will be polarity sensitive. So in my case, positive is the gold colored contact and negative is the silver colored contact for my new device. All right, so in my case, I have to enlarge the hole here because my hole is too small for it to fit. So I got my little Dremel tool here. All right, so we've got the hole to the right size. We are going to install it. It comes with a back nut, so let's put the back nut on there. All right, and so you can go ahead and snug it up with a screwdriver or a wrench to give it a nice tight fit. So personally, I prefer to solder, but since this is inside the vehicle and I have misplaced my soldering iron, so I will use a little gold-plated terminal for butt splices, and then I'll heat shrink over the top of it. But usually I prefer to solder, but this time I'll let it pass. All right, positive to the gold terminal, which was actually, let me just do the negative first. Negative to the silver plated, and positive to the gold terminal. There we go. And we'll secure it with some tie straps. All right, so let's go ahead and put this all back together and I'll show you the finished product. All right, so here's the finished product. Has a little cover, exposes the USBs, has a little button on the side here to turn the display. The display is just showing the supply voltage to the device. It's actually putting out 5 volts DC, 3 amps to each of these USB ports. So let's go ahead and plug one in here. The only thing I don't like about this is the well, the cover's kind of a pain. I might clip the cover off. But you plug the cord in this way for the bottom one, but then you have to flip it over for the top one. That's kind of yucky. Yeah, but it serves the purpose. So one unfortunate thing about this particular device that I purchased was that if you power this thing off it powers the complete device off. So every time you start your car up, you got to power it up for you to have USB power. I'm just gonna have to train my passengers that that's just how it works. Anyways, thanks for tuning into my channel. If you found this video helpful, please click that like button. Check out some of my other videos, and if you like the content that I put on my channel, please click the subscribe button. Thanks for checking in, and I'll catch you on my next video. Thank you.